guys. So yeah, I've got my second kayak. It's been probably about a month. I've taken it out for a few different fishing trips. Mainly I was diving off both these kayaks, and done probably about one fishing trip on the new 575. Now today I'm not going to go into too much details because I've already done all the features of the 555, this one, and it's pretty much the same as that one. Really, there's not much of a difference. There are a few differences, which I will go through, but yeah, mainly it would be definitely the width. So as you can see, 575 definitely just drops off right here, which means really you've got the seat and then it's just the water, whereas a bit of a lip here on this side, which obviously contributes to the stability, which makes this one far more stable than the 575. Now I can literally lie down on this one, like facing the other way. So if I lie on top of the fish hatch, and I can literally stretch my legs this way towards the back, and I can literally lie down flat and I still feel really comfortable, as long as the water's not too rough. This one definitely not that stable, or I guess not to the point where I can lie down. I can still side saddle very easy, just sit on the side, no problem, especially when I'm diving. Climbing up and down, very easy. In terms of fishing, both kayaks awesome, but definitely the 555 is a little bit easier to fight a bigger fish. With smaller fish, to be honest, you can't even feel it. Like with 575, no problem. But say if you're fighting a big kingy, I mean on a flat day, I don't think it will be a problem at all. Both kayaks. If it's a little bit choppy, I don't think like big swell necessarily means it's gonna be unstable. It's more the chop, like the side chops and stuff, and it gets really windy. And if you've got all the chops coming from all different directions, sometimes I think Pro Fisher 575 can be a little bit tricky to fish on, because you constantly have some pressure in your core to balance. Now what I tend to do, as well as Miles, because he's got the 525, same thing, a little bit shorter. Most of the time I'll stick my feet out. It gives me extra balance, especially when I get hooked. If I get hooked up to a fish, I'll just stick my feet out straight away. Obviously sometimes if I'm worried about the shark coming near me, which didn't really happen to me yet, but there are heaps of videos out there where bronzies come all the way up right next to the kayak and stealing kingies and stuff. So if you're landing the fish, then obviously I guess it'd be better for you to at least put your foot in at least that side wherever you're landing the fish. Usually for me it will be the left hand side, so I'll put my left leg into the footwell, probably keep my right one out there, and then pull the fish up. That way at least I'm a bit less worried about the shark biting my foot. Anyways, yeah, same features, training holes, handles and everything. One different thing would be that's the rubber pad, whereas this is a clear vinyl pad for the scratch resistant pad for the pedals. I think with plastic pedals it doesn't really matter, but if you have the carbon pedal, which I've ordered when I got this kayak for Jade, with the carbon pedal being a little bit sharper and stuff, I think the protective layer definitely makes quite a bit of difference in terms of protecting the paint. Clear one, rubber one, I honestly don't mind whichever, but this literally, I guess it definitely makes the paint stand out a bit better. So it's one good thing, especially when you have something like this stripe, which Jade opted to have. We had a little bit of crack here while transport. So what we did was we sanded out all the gel coat and enhanced the fiberglass underneath. There was a slight crack here next to the thing, so I'm assuming on the transport, while this was upside down or something, something got, I guess, I don't know, jammed onto the thing, or they might have dropped it, and there was a slightly crack here, which was fixed. The reason why the gel coat looks pretty ugly is because that day, as soon as the fiberglass was cured, I really wanted to get out. I didn't have time to kind of make this nice and pretty and everything, so I had an idea of making this little arrow shape white thing, just because I couldn't be bothered getting that colored gel coat, so I just used the white one that Miles had on him. But like, it's obviously wonky because I put the first coat on and then I'm like, yeah, let's go out, and I just took them out, and since then I haven't really done anything to it. Ryan, who's the stealth dealer of New Zealand, he's actually already organized a replacement kayak for me for the next shipment, and it's an identical kayak that's on its way. Hopefully there's nothing wrong, because out of all the kayaks, I think Ryan had like a full container of kayaks, which were like, I don't know, probably like 20-30 kayaks. Only this one had a damage, so everything else was fine. Unfortunately, mine had a little bit of crack here, but at the end of the day, you know, Ryan was so kind to organize another kayak straight away for me. I've actually videoed the process of how we fixed the fiberglass. I just can't find the file. It's just been a while, but if I do end up finding it, I'll put it up. Now the difference would be this lid. So that one, it's more like a carbon. I don't know if that's full carbon, but at least it looks like a carbon for the lid, hatch lid, whereas this is just full on plastic. And for the Pro Fisher, there is this middle rod, which is for fishing rods to stay up, so it's not touching your fish or whatever it is down there. So you can hang the fishing rod here and use these straps to put the fishing rod on the side or whatever, just so that it doesn't go down. But honestly, for me, I just chuck it in the hatch with fish. I'm not really worried most of the time. But the Fisher, it's got a rock instead of those metal, so which for the same purpose, but a different thing. Same thing, the cover for the rudder. This is carbon, whereas that's just plastic, because Pro Fisher is supposed to be a higher model than the Fisher. I think the rudder itself is a bit different. I don't know if the camera can catch it, but this is, I honestly don't know like what it is. Probably a fiberglass, but it looks, at least it looks like that the fiberish thing, whereas this one here is just plastic. So yeah, other than that, I'm quite sure everything else is identical. With the live bait and everything, rudder, they've just got the new collar for the adjustment line, but handles, everything, I think they're the same. Apparently next model, not next, but something that's coming soon with the new mold or something, the Stealth kayak's gonna, even the fiberglass, just like the Fusion one, it's gonna have a scupper for the sounder for the transducer to be mounted underneath, so you don't have to drill a hole, or you know, you don't have to put the transducer in the hole, which I do. I don't really mind putting the thing inside the hole, but some people like the transducer to be directly in contact with the water. So some guys been drilling holes like Rocky Kid, and they've been sealing it, which apparently has no problem whatsoever. But yeah, I just put it inside and they're usually okay for me. But the next one, apparently there will be a scupper. That's what Ryan told me. So anyone, I guess, wanting to get the kayak in the future, something they might be concerned about, it's a good thing, I guess. But yeah, otherwise, in terms of pedaling itself, it's actually with this one, when you're going forward, when there's a bit of a chop and stuff, if it's like a forward swell, you wouldn't be worried at all, just punch it through. Sometimes if there's a bit of a funny side chop while you're going forward with the narrower thing, it can go a little bit funny like that. But honestly, if you generally don't have any problem balancing, you wouldn't find it too bad. As long as you have that momentum to go forward, it's generally okay. Sometimes though, when you're trying to turn right, and then say a side chop is coming from the right side, just like when you're landing on the beach with the surf beaching, you can kind of like, you know, tilt outwards. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. Say if you're in a rush or whatever, and if it becomes a bit choppy, you kind of have to make sure that you know what's coming from the side or the back or whatever. Whereas like 555, you don't have to care about anything. Like literally just don't stress, paddle, and no problem. You can just paddle, don't worry about whatever's going around you. The kayak will stabilize itself. Obviously, I'm not talking like 3 meter swell with bloody like 20 knot wind. Like you really don't want to go out in those kind of conditions, to be honest. No matter what you're paddling. I guess if you've got a big boat or something, it might be an option. But I honestly wouldn't go out because A, it's dangerous. B, it's not really worth it. Too much work. Like you'll be drifting so quick. Even with the drift chute, you know, and you'll be struggling going back and forth. So yeah, unless you want to do like really close inshore fishing with close to the rocks and stuff. Again, but then if it's really like dumpy and everything, then you don't really want to be too near to the rocks anyway. So just stay home, chill, have a beer, and you know, have fun. But yeah, otherwise, speed, definitely faster, 575. Like I said in the past, it just flies. When I took Jade out for the first time, in fact, she found this actually really stable. She was pedaling the Viking Esprit, which I have it in the garage. But yeah, she said she actually felt a lot more stable with the 575. I think it's probably because it's very connected. It's because when you sit here, this is quite deep, definitely deeper than the Fisher. I think this is kind of like probably higher, and I get the same feeling when I sit here. It feels like the seat's hugging you, like nice and snug. Sometimes if you've got a really big butt, it can be a little bit tight. But I guess for me, it was really nice, and with Jade, she felt really connected to the kayak too. It's like kind of hugging you. The side being deeper, you've got slightly higher back support as well than the Fisher. So if that's one of the point that you're concerned with, like having those seats and stuff, which of course you can add the seat if you want to, but you know, generally with this one, I think it's got slightly better back support, the back being a little bit higher. But yeah, speed definitely quicker, especially with the start. That one needs a bit of an effort to kick forward, whereas this one probably just do a few pedals and you're already cruising. I did try measuring the speed before. I was pedaling back home against the wind. It was a westerly that day, and yeah, I could. Oh, and there was quite a bit of swell like coming from the back and front as well. Still, I managed to get like 10 kilometers an hour, whatever that is in knots. Yeah, still quite fast. I guess if you've got the wind behind you, and if it's a flat day, or even if you got the current, it'll probably, I'm quite positive, will go over like 12-13 kilos per hour if you want to sprint with it, even like with average paddling skill, which would be me. Of course, if you've got like surf ski professionals and stuff, they'll probably, I don't know, go so much faster. So yeah, otherwise, the reason why I ordered this 575, I guess most important reason would be because of my wife. It's more like I wanted to take her out than she wanted to come with me, but I've taken her out. Well, I needed a fast kayak because she always complained when she comes out with me on a spree or whatever, she just couldn't keep up, and I had to tow her and everything because obviously the Esprit is a lot slower. So I had a chat with Ryan, asking him about the stability and everything, because everyone was saying it wasn't stable and etc. I've tried Jared's, I loved it. I personally don't have any problem with 575. Some people do have a bit of a problem, but I just thought it would be fine, and I just thought it would be fine for Jade as well, so I've ordered it. Being the fastest kayak, she can't go out on a swelly day anyway because she gets seasick, so if she ends up going out with me, it would be a very flat day, so I might as well get the fastest one on the market. I believe this would be the fastest kayak, or fishing kayak at least, out there. I'm quite positive, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, least amount of effort to punch through the water. So yeah, that's why I got this as a second one. Nowadays, unless it's really, really rough, because obviously people like new things, I generally take this one out when my wife's not going out, because it's more fun, because it's quicker, slightly more fun paddling, because it's faster. You feel more connected. Both kayaks have no problem diving with it, so I put the spear gun and all my weight belt, fins, anchor, diving mask, everything in the hatch, and sometimes I even take the fishing rods out at the back. Both kayaks are perfect for that purposes. When you're side settling, if it's a little bit choppy and then you're trying to put your fin on and everything, definitely 555 will be a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, on a normal day, both of them more than perfect. Yeah, otherwise I don't think there's anything else. That should be just enough. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea, for anyone out there who's already got a fisher, who's curious about how the Pro Fisher is, or say if you don't have a stealth, if you're trying to figure out which stealth you want to get, these two models, the Fisher and the Pro Fisher, of course it comes in different lengths, but they're essentially all the same, they're just different lengths. I've got the longest of each. That's the longest of a Fisher, that's the longest of a Pro Fisher, just because I've got the space, and I'd rather get a longer one than a shorter one for the speed. Definitely though, if you have to carry them all the time, and if you have a bit of a distance from your parking to the beach, and if you have to carry a lot of stuff, 460 and 475, they're super light. They're very, very light, especially like 460, Mars's got one. It's definitely very light compared to say 555. 575 slightly lighter, so when I try to put it on the roof of the car, quite similar. I think there's about 2 kilos difference. This is slightly easier, 575. 555 slightly heavier, but it's fine. Honestly, these two are fine. I've actually loaded the Duo when I borrowed it from Mike to take that out. That Duo was definitely quite heavy. I still managed to chuck it on the top of the ute myself, but that one was definitely a bit of a challenge to put it up because it's quite heavy. These two, in the beginning I struggled because I just didn't know where to hold properly and how to balance it and everything, but and plus I was a bit worried about dropping it too. But as soon as you get used to it, you just kick it up your knees and just chuck them on the roof, and it's very easy. I mean, if you've got a lower car or trailer, then yeah, it's not much of an issue at all. Anyways, yeah, hopefully that helps a bit with people out there who's trying to decide between fisheye and Pro Fisher. I've got both, as you can see. I just love these kayaks, and yeah. Oh, one more thing. Pro Fisher is a bit straighter. The GoPro is not gonna pick it up quite well because I think GoPro is slightly distorted. It's a fisheye. That one's definitely straighter, and 555, all the fishes got a bit more of a rocker. So if you actually put it on the ute, you can see that the nose of the kayak for the 555 would slightly go up, and this one kind of goes straight. I think that's for the surf, so that when you're riding the surf or you're coming in, I guess if you have a straight one, it definitely the nose will dive down and dig into the water, and you might likely, I mean, it's quite likely that you'll flip, but by having a bit of a rocker, I think that makes it a little bit easier. But I guess the other, well, I guess the con is that if you've got it, because of the bit of a rocker, it's got less contact with the water than the straight one, which makes the Pro Fisher being really straight, and it's got the maximum contact with the water. I think that makes it a little bit faster. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. Any questions, I guess you could put it down in the comment, and I'll definitely try answering it if you have any. Anyways, thanks for watching. Cheers.